welcome to my scrapping space. I'm Joni Martin. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator located in Southwest Wisconsin. And this is one of my Merry Monday posts. Every Monday, July through December, I post a card for you giving you some Christmas inspiration. And I'm starting with a really easy one. The card is quick and easy to put together and the paper is stunning. What do you say we get my face out of the way and start creating? So first I want to take just a second and talk about a couple pieces from a new suite. The suite is called Season of Green and Gold, and it's an online exclusive. So it isn't like there's not 100 beautiful things in our catalog, but Stampin' Up is giving us more. This is an online release, meaning the products can be seen online. You can order online through your favorite demonstrator, or you can reach out to your favorite demonstrator and they'll order for you. But it includes this paper pack. Oh, and this very soft, very pretty ribbon we're using. But the paper pack is 12 by 12. And on one side, you have some gold. It's just stunning. And on the other side, it's more of a matte, which in some ways makes it more flexible to use beyond Christmas crafting. But it's just beautiful. And today I'm going to use, I could be using that one, but I'm going to use this one, which is right up there with one of my favorites, and this one. Are you ready to make a quick and easy fun fold? Those two words aren't always in the same sentence. Quick and easy and fun fold. Here's our card. And the card is a little unusual in that there's no card base that opens. Your card base is a flat piece, and then you have this lovely little piece right here. Now, if you're someone like me, this is a perfect card because I don't like to write a lot in a card. So then when you have something like this, look it, you don't have to feel bad. Stamp a sentiment, sign your name, you're good to go. All right, let's look at the pieces that make up this card. And of course, directions, numbers, measurements, supply list, everything can be found in my blog, Scrapping with Joni. So our card base is 1/4 of an 8.5 by 11. It's the size of what your regular folded card would be. And that's 5.5 by 4 1/4. And I chose this print, but as you saw, there were lots of prints I could have used. I was looking for an overall vanilla and gold print. This one would have worked great too. And that's nice because if you're making a lot of cards, to have some options in your paper pack means it goes farther. We're going to first attach this right here in the center. Ooh, this is a pretty paper too. I'm attaching flat paper to flat paper, meaning there's no embossing yet. So my tape runner is going to work just great for that. There we go. But you know, could I really make a card without embossing? That's pretty hard for me. So let's do some embossing. This is very pretty, but if we emboss it, it will add another layer of texture and interest to your card. I'm using Dashing Designs embossing folder. You could use any folder that works for you. Dashing Designs is a 3D emboss, meaning it has leaves a heavier texture. So we're going to use plates 1 and 4. We're using our favorite cut and emboss machine. Plate 1 is the plate we use every time we use this machine. Plate 4 is for our 3D embossing. So I'm putting this inside my folder. I'm going to use, excuse me, I'm going to cough. I apologize, guys. I'm going to use that line Stampin' Up was kind enough to give me. I'm going to make sure Stampin' Up is on the top and that my fold goes first. Then, probably the most important thing whenever you are using any of your die cutting or embossing machines is you want a plate on top. In this case, we want plate 4. Having a plate on top protects our machine, protects the die or embossing folder we're doing. It's just a good idea. And then you just roll. And if your sandwich, that's what they call the order of the plates, is not going through as easily as mine did, stop and check. Make sure you have the plates in the right order and the right plates. Okay, how easy was that? And again, you could use a Christmas theme embossing folder. This is just one of my new favorites, and so we grab that. And it does give a great overall texture. Then my actual card is just a piece of Very Vanilla, and it is, I'm using my glass grid here to measure. It is 3 by 8 and it's scored at 4. And score means when you make a light mark on your paper, you can use your scoring blade on your paper cutter or a scoreboard, and that just helps us make a fold. We're going to add this very beautiful paper. It's stunning paper. You don't even need a lot of it to make an impression. And that's going to go right there. And I'm just going to use a little bit of tear and tape. Or maybe a little bit more than that. And attach it. Now, you could, as you can see, there's some room here. You could add a label with a sentiment. I'm not going to. I love this look. Now, here's our beautiful ribbon. This is soft. It is called a Very Vanilla satin ribbon, and it's 3/4 inch wide. Sometimes the wider ribbons are harder to use on cards. This one's so soft and easy to use, it isn't. I'm going to use, as you can tell from my class notes here, we're going to cut about 14 inches. Do you ever have trouble with your scissors and you go to use them and they're too dull to use? Well, my friend sent this to me. It could be used as a bag tag, but I'm using it on my scissors. One, each time I use it, I think of her. And two, you can't use the scissors without seeing all these ribbons, which reminds you this is only for ribbon. So then, I'll show you the way I do a bow. I bet you have a way too, but this way works for me. I'm going to grab one of the glue dots, or maybe two. They're small, but mighty. And I'm just putting them at each edge here. Then, now this is longer than you need, but for me, it's easier to tie when I have a little bit of room to work with. I'm just kind of getting a rough center, putting that in the center of the card, and doing this. Now here's the trick. I want to be doing it on the back of the side that I've covered. I don't want to do it on the back of the card. Then, do you find the tails go better if you tie your bow or not upside down? They do for me. I'm going to add another glue dot where I want that knot to land. So somewhere right here in the center. And then I'm just going to make my first knot, and I'm going to catch it on that glue dot, which is really easy to do when the ribbon is this wide. That kind of acts as that extra finger to hold it in place. And then I'm going to tuck that under and pull. And actually what I'm doing is I'm only pulling one end. I'm going to keep that one flat, and that just gives me a little flatter, fancier front to my bow. Okay, see how this one is coming down the way we want it? This one not so much. So we're going to help it. You always have that one outlier. You're going to just lift this up and tuck it underneath. And my take your pick tool helps. You could use the ends of a snip. And you know, this is so easy and so pretty. And in class, we had it in a cellophane envelope just to protect it from inky hands. And so many people thought I had started with a bow. They were like trying to tie a bow. Like, oh no, it's so much easier than that. Then you're just going to trim it wherever you want it to land. Just like that. And because I'm not doing a sentiment, I'm probably going to leave it a little longer on the front. Now, we're almost done. This is how easy this card is. You can decide. It could go right in the center. We know I'm not great at putting things in the center. So I'm putting mine to the side. It could go to either side. I just like it over here. And now I do have a heavily textured. So I'm going to go with this great all-purpose glue. And we're just going to be pretty generous. And notice how I'm kind of leaving some space to the outside. And I have plenty of glue here. That's so when I push down, I don't have glue coming out. It has somewhere to go. And I'm just going to lay this down like so. That's all there is to it, folks. Now, if I was going to stamp something on the inside, I would have done that before I attached it, obviously. But I'm not sure what this card is yet. It would be a beautiful Christmas card. It would be a gorgeous, didn't get your cards out in time, a New Year's card, like starting out the year. It would also be, I need a card for a 50th wedding anniversary. So even though, this is kind of bugging me that that one's short and this is long. So even though I'm sharing it in a Merry Monday, this one may end up being a 50th wedding anniversary card. We're just going to snip that a little shorter. There we go. Now, we know this, right? We're not sending this beautiful card in a naked envelope. And the other thing you could do, I haven't yet because I'm not sure, you could add just a snip of this at the top so when they open it, they also have some pretty on the inside. But let's get that envelope flap done. Lots of pieces laying here. We're going to put glue on an envelope flap, not on our paper, because our paper is a larger piece. When you're gluing two things together, you always put glue on the smaller one. It saves some mess and fuss, because then you don't get glue where you don't want it. Now, this paper has an up and down, meaning it has an orientation. So what would be the top of the paper is going to go right against the envelope. And we're just going to give it a light touch. Oop, but look at this. I reached for this to cut the paper, and those ribbons reminded me that's not what I want to do. So we'll do this instead. And there we have it. A very pretty, very easy. This would be a card if you, like myself, send out a lot of Christmas cards. Think how many you could get out of a pack of paper, how quick and easy it would be to put together. If you felt like you wanted to bling it up even more, you could add some bling over here. You could add a small sentiment over here. This is a very flexible card design. And like I said, you can find measurements and supply list on my blog, Scrappin' with Joni. Thanks for watching. It means more than you know. Until next time, take care and keep crafting. It's good for you.